In a small village surrounded by green fields and tall trees lived a young person who always stayed quiet. This person did not speak much in school, did not join any games, and always sat at the back of the class. The reason was simple. This person did not believe in themselves. Whenever someone said something good, they smiled but did not really believe it. At home, things were simple. The family was kind, but busy with their own work. No one noticed that the young person felt small inside. In the mirror, they did not see someone strong or special, just someone normal, someone who didn't matter much. That's what they believed. One day at school, the teacher made an announcement. "Next week, we are having a speaking contest," the teacher said. "Everyone has to prepare a short speech." The whole class became noisy. Some were excited, others nervous. But the quiet one, our young person, felt scared. "I can't do it," they whispered to themselves. "I'm not good at anything. I'll make a fool of myself." That evening, they sat under a tree near their home, thinking about the contest. "Why do I always feel like I can't do things?" they asked themselves. "Why am I so afraid?" Just then, an old man walking by stopped and looked at them. "Why the long face?" he asked kindly. "I have to speak in front of the class next week," they replied. "But I'm too scared." The old man sat beside them. "Do you know what the strongest power in the world is?" he asked. They shook their head. "It's not money. It's not muscles. It's self-confidence," the old man said. "When you believe in yourself, you can do anything." They looked at him with wide eyes. "But I don't have that. I've never been good at anything." The old man smiled. "That's what you think. But let me ask you, have you ever tried?" They thought for a moment. No, they hadn't really tried. Not because they didn't want to, but because they were too scared to fail. The old man continued, "Let me tell you a secret. Everyone is afraid at first. Even the greatest speakers were nervous once. But they believed in themselves. That's how they grew." The young person listened carefully. The words felt new, like a door opening. "Start small," the old man said. "Stand in front of your mirror. Speak to your reflection. Practice every day. And remember, your voice matters." That night, the young person stood in front of the mirror, heart beating fast. At first, they couldn't say a word. But then they whispered, "I can do this." Day by day, they practiced. At first, they made mistakes. Sometimes they forgot the words. Sometimes they laughed at how silly they felt. But they kept going. One sentence, then two, one paragraph, then a whole speech. In class, others were preparing too. Some laughed when they heard the quiet one was trying. "You? In a contest," they said. "You'll be too scared to speak." Those words hurt. But the young person remembered the old man's advice. Believe in yourself. They went home and practiced even harder. The day of the contest came. Students gathered in the hall. One by one, they stood and gave their speeches. Some were funny. Some were serious. Everyone clapped politely. Then it was a young person's turn. They walked to the stage, heart pounding, hands cold. They looked at the crowd. Some kids smiled kindly. Others looked surprised. The teacher gave an encouraging nod. The young person took a deep breath. And then they began. At first, their voice shook, but then it grew steady. Their eyes lifted. Their words flowed. They spoke about courage, about trying even when you're scared, about believing in yourself. The room was quiet. When the speech ended, there was a pause. Then loud clapping filled the hall. The teacher smiled. Even the students who had laughed before were now silent, amazed. The young person walked back to their seat. Inside, something had changed. A small voice whispered, "You did it." And for the first time, they believed it. They didn't win first prize, but they won something greater, self-confidence. From that day, they no longer sat at the back of the class. They raised their hand. They tried new things. Sometimes they failed, but they didn't stop, because now they knew that believing in yourself is a first step to doing great things. Years passed. That same person, once so shy and unsure, grew into someone others looked up to. They became a leader, helping others find their own voice. One day, they visited a school. A quiet student sat alone. They walked over and asked, "Why the long face?" The student looked up. "We have a speaking contest next week, but I'm too scared." The visitor smiled. "Let me tell you a secret," they said. "The strongest power in the world is self-confidence." And just like that, the light of belief passed on, one voice to another, one heart to another. Because confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build word by word, step by step, every time you choose to believe in yourself. Speech balloon moral of the story. Self-confidence is a power that helps you rise above fear, try new things, and become the best version of yourself. Believe in yourself, even when others don't, and you will go farther than you ever imagined.